So sending the answer back to you to be 2, right? um that way you get your value, and okay, and then you now know that this is the current answer to 1 plus 1, but someone has done it. So people like to call it the brain of the computer because it's the one who does the processing. But it's not just limited to 1 plus 1. Yeah, you play a music, or you are playing games, or whatever it is you're doing on your system, all of those processing is carried out by the processor, right? Oftentimes the processor has to like understand this thing from a mathematical standpoint and return the feedback to you. All right, okay, all right, and return the feedback to you as the user. So when you go online and you're downloading something in your PC, as let me say music, downloading music into your PC, right, and you're enjoying yourself while listening to it, there's a processing going on under that is basically converting these things to what you can understand as a user. So the technology of the processor is very complex, but we are not going to go into that details. The focus is for you to know what is and the essential things in the computer. So yes, then there's another thing called the RAM, the memory of the computer. This is where temporal information are being stored. So at the time you're sending instruction to a computer, right, the memory holds these instructions quickly and releases them to the processor for processing, right, as needed. Now the processor is able to do 1 instruction, 2 instruction, multiple instructions at a time, depending on the kind of processor and the power of the processor. But the RAM has to like feed the memory with these instructions. It feed the processor, I mean to say, with this instruction per time, like that. So then that CPU can do the processing and send it again back to you. This is why if you're looking for a computer that's fast, you most likely will be needing to upgrade the RAM to a higher memory so that it can hold more data and process and send them for processing like as quickly as possible. And also it's in relation with the power of the computer. Computer processors can be in cores, in multiple cores, and we are not going to go into that detail at this particular time, but it's very important for you to know that the RAM is a quick memory location where instructions are being first stored before relayed to the processor for quick performance. I hope you understand that though. And there are different kinds of RAM, and typically you're going to see a different RAM actually if you're using a desktop. Inside your desktop computer, you're going to see different kind of RAM from the one running in your laptop, but they are both serving the same purpose, but there are different types of RAM. We will not be going into that right now, but knowing what a RAM is very important. And a motherboard is the circuit board where all the other components connect, like the monitor connects to a motherboard, the keyboard connects to a motherboard, the mouse connects to a motherboard, the hard drive connects to a motherboard, even the printer, all the other peripheral devices. A peripheral device is that device that you can carry from somewhere and join it, just connect it maybe through any of the USB ports like that, and it begins to work, right? So the motherboard is the mother for all of them. So all of these hardware components come connect into it, and then it finds a way to connect all of these components with the processor so that instruction can leave any of those devices and go into the processor for processing, well, with the help of the RAM as well. Yeah, so if you open a radio, you can typically see a board. If you open a TV set, you can see a board. If you open your phone, you can see a board. on a computer they call this board the motherboard, and there are different types of motherboards with different form factors, but just know what the motherboard is as that parent board, a circuit board where different of these components come together, and they can begin to work from there, right? So you'll be seeing the picture of all of these things in the coming slides for those of us who have not seen what the inside of a computer looks like. And then I've explained about storage devices from the previous slide, but I'm explaining them again as a secondary storage. Remember we talked about a RAM being a memory, right? It's very, very volatile. The importance of a RAM is just to hold instructions that are being relayed to the computer for processing. So this thing is is mostly useful when the computer is still on, mostly, right? That's why it is very, very fast, and it's volatile in the sense that when the computer goes off, the stuff that are stored inside of the RAM, they are released. It means you cannot get them again. They are gone until the computer comes back on and new processing starts again. It begins to hold information again. General knowledge of RAM, this is what it says. Okay, but if you want to hold information that when you turn the system off and turn it back on, the information is still there, then you store that information. Those informations are stored in secondary storage, and they call them storage devices, not memory. So an example is the hard drive or the SSDs or your flash drive or your memory cards and all the other ones that we talked about earlier. So this is what the hard drive looked like, and this is what an SSD look like. So if you have seen it before, here you go. This is where your movies, your file, your documents, your music, all your graphic things you are doing that you can save and come back to it later. This is where it is stored. This is the inside of a hard drive. I don't think we need to discuss about that technology just yet at this time, but basically it's a mechanical storage, where in the sense that it requires moving parts. As you can see, this is a disk that spins, and there is a laser at this particular point here that reads the information on this particular disk, and everything is being interpreted accordingly. But then an SSD storage device is not it does not have mechanical parts just like the hard drive, like the HDD. SDD means solid disk device. Did I get it right? Okay, anyways, solid state is supposed to be SSD. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. So it's supposed to be SSD, so it's solid state drive. Okay, which is also another storage device. So it does not have mechanical parts. It just has flash memory embedded on the board, and right. So it is usually very fast but more expensive than the hard drive. This is what it looks from the outside. So any of them you see on your own, just know that this is the storage device that your computer uses for storing long files for long-term use. Do you understand? And then this is the RAM we'll talk about. You typically see this one in a desktop CPU, I mean system units. Then you will typically see this one on your laptop, right? They can be 2 gig, they can be 4 gig, they can be 6 gig. The higher the memory, the better the performance for your PC, right? But this is what a RAM looks like. And then this is the CPU they talk about. Inside the CPU is where the processing is carried out, unless if you need an extra one for graphic processing, then you talk about the GPU. And this CPU, there's a control unit, there is an arithmetic logic unit, there are registers, a lot of things that go on here. But the power of the CPU depends on the type they are using. But most modern CPUs are more powerful than the older ones that you know. So you must have been hearing that the CPU has 4 cores or dual core